Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Simply Catan comes from a time period where they didn't know what to do with Catan. They weren't sure what they wanted to do with it. So this is one where they kind of licensed it out, said, hey, make this family easier to play version of Catan called Simply Catan. And you lose the variable board, and you lose a couple things, and little rule tweaks here. Not as many points needed to win. There's a little bit of tweaks everywhere, fixed board, and put it right out there. And I think the mistake they made with this one was, from what I can read for that time period, was it was too expensive. So it was cheaper just to get the regular Catan. Where I think they would have made a family weight one, like they do now. You know, they make the little kid version of it, and they kind of put that out there and said this is a cheaper price, a stepping stone, all that good stuff. With this one, they kind of missed a boat with it. So Simply Catan would be for, you know, it's an easier version, toned down. You don't want it to be quite as long. It takes some of the stuff out, streamlines it a little bit, and makes it an easier one. You can have the static board every time, so it's going to be the same setup, and it may start feeling samey where the regular Catan can have some mix-up and some areas will change a little bit, but this is going to be a fun one for some people. It's probably one that you can skip now. I don't think you need to go back to this one. I think that time has kind of passed it by, and it was a novelty. I think it could have worked. Maybe it did work at the time, but it doesn't work today. For me, it's going to be a purge. Here is Simply Catan from Simply Fun. Play for all ages, as it says. Has a picture of Catan there, which is nice. Going to get a rule page, which we'll look at in a few minutes. And then let's take a look at this. So this is going to be It Pays to Play, some advertisement that they have here. And then you have your fun memories of your game log, if you want to log in your games. You're going to have the board that will be here. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. So you're going to have kind of a board here. Oh, here is some additional rules and stuff. The almanac that comes with it. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. So these are the tiles. They're pretty good quality. You're going to have these, which are nice. Have the pictures of Catan, so the longest army in the row. These will be set up. And then you have some fairly nice pieces in here. I mean, there's been some rub about this game, but the dice are generic and okay, and these numbers can go on the hexes. Now, my pieces are all painted up. Yours will vary, but here is the robber that you will see. And it feels like a little bit of a miniature thing. It's kind of neat than what you don't get in most of these. Then I'll show you what some of these have. Remember, mine are all painted up. Your mileage may vary, but these are going to be plastic pieces. I think at the time, a lot of them were wood. But you can see the nice that you have here. Now, I ended up getting a 3D version of this, so I'm parting with this one for this reason. But I'm not hating on these pieces like a lot of people are. I think they're pretty nice, especially all painted up like this. I think they look pretty good. Then you're gonna have these cards. Now, these cards are small, and that was kind of the talk of the town at the time. So here are the cards that come with it. They do have a nice little finish on them. They are small. They're going to fit well into a child's hand, and they're a little small. But I think they do have a nice finish on them, and they feel pretty good on it. The artwork is, it's a sign of its time, right? That's how Catan always is. Catan never had great artwork. So I think you'd have a nice little case in here where everything kind of fits in. It's okay for kind of what you're getting for it. So this is what the board will look like. You got spaces for your cards, and you got the building costs associated with it. And then you can kind of just put these in. And the tiles will just kind of go right in here. And then you'll have kind of a static board every time you play. They are double-sided, which is kind of nice. And then you have your board kind of all set up right here as you put in. And then you'll put these numbers across it. And you can randomize these if you'd like to. But it all works. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's a very nice set of Catan that you can see here. And I really didn't have any issues with the components at all. So here's the rule book for Catan. You can get a sheet of paper. This will kind of give you a good overview. I found this to be very, very nice. And it gives you a little picture of setup. And on the back, the rules go into a little bit more detail. You can see there's some basic rules and some setup for experienced players. And it kind of goes through. There's no pictures or anything on this side. Now, you're also going to get this little almanac that will come with it. These will give you examples and explanations and little pictures and all that kind of stuff. I would just go to this if you have a question, and then kind of stick to this, read through this, be up and playing, and then you can kind of refer to the rules if you need to. I find this to be very, very nice. So here's the game kind of getting ready to go with one of the people. You have 2 settlements and 2 roads on here. I'm just going to give a quick overview on how to play. So the first thing you're going to do on a turn is you're going to roll the dice, and that will tell you what... Let's do something other than 7. That will tell you what will pay off. So in this case, 11 will pay off. Anybody who has something around 11 will pay off. Let's say, just for argument's sake, we had rolled a 10, 2 5s, then the 10 would pay off, and you would get one of those cards there. And then you would simply get one of the brick cards because a 10 was rolled. And that's a very easy thing to do. Now, if a 7 is ever rolled, then you can take the robber and you can place him on any location you want. Let's say here, you put him right here on the 10. Then if a 10 is rolled, 10 would not pay off this location of 10. Or if you place him there, then that 10 would not roll off. Or you place him on maybe a 9, then a 9 wouldn't pay off. So on a 7, you would simply place the robber wherever you want, and then whatever location he's at is no longer going to pay off, and everybody has to get rid of half their cards rounded down. So that's the first thing that you would do. After you get your resources, then you can trade with other people. If you're at one of these harbor spots, you can always trade with the bank, 2 for 1. This one gives you a 3 for 1, 3 for 1, and there's different pictures around that. And then you can take your cards and you can build. And then what you do is you can build, and you would build just based on the cost associated with it. So if you wanted to build a road, you would give up 1 wood and 1 brick. If you wanted to give up a settlement, a wood, a brick, a sheep, and a grain, and you would just pay those costs associated with it. And then when you build those on the board, those are going to be worth victory points. Keeping in mind, at the end of the game, whoever has built the longest road will get 2 additional victory points, or the largest army, they will have 2 victory points. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is your winner. Who should buy this game? Somebody looking for a family weight game, and this would be a budget-inspired one of that. I don't find Catan to be too hard of a game, but if you want it streamlined, a little bit a shorter version, you don't want all the complicated setup, or if you find that complicated, this will do it for you. The components are neat. I really like the way that it looks, so this could be appealing to some people. That would be Simply Catan. For my taste, I'm not really a Catan person. It wasn't my gateway game. I don't really like trading in games too much. So Simply Catan is going to be a Purge